John Paserno is also claiming that Jordan did not receive any messages or phone calls or texts from the people who were looking for the three men. He's also claiming that he never heard anyone come into his house that day, despite Clayton's fiance saying that when she got into the house, she was yelling for Jordan, announcing that she was there. But he claims he didn't know anyone was there until police got there and announced their presence. However, the fifth guy that was there that left around midnight said that he was receiving phone calls and messages from the friends and family of the three men on Tuesday. So you're telling me that everyone is asking this fifth guy where their friends and their loved ones are, but no one's talking to Jordan? I am not buying it.
Hello, True Crime Stories family. Welcome back. Jordan's dad, Rodney Willis, said his son would never in a million years do anything to his friends. And his son is grieving just the same as his friends' families that blame Jordan and theorized that drugs may be the reason for the deaths of David Harrington, Ricky Johnson, and Clayton McGeeney. Police have said that foul play is not suspected and have stressed that it is not yet clear whether drugs were involved as detectives await autopsy and toxicology reports. We have photos from the inside of Jordan Willis's house that show 5 sets of wide ground floor windows overlooking the backyard where Ricky Johnson, Clayton McGeeney, and David Harrington were found. Two more windows overlook the yard from the bedrooms upstairs. But pictures from inside the house show that unless all blinds were closed, it would have been hard for Jordan not to see into the backyard. 2 sets of large windows and a windowed door occupy the wall of the living room facing the backyard, and an opening from the kitchen into the living room lines up directly with those 3 windows. There is also a double-wide window directly over the kitchen sink. There is a set of full-length sliding glass doors that overlook the back patio where Clayton McGeeney was found.
Their cause of death still remains a mystery this morning. Police say Ricky Johnson, David Harrington, and Clayton McGeeney were found dead on January 9th, but we're still awaiting the autopsy and toxicology reports that are expected to reveal how those men died. Joining me now is Dr. Priya Banerjee, board-certified forensic pathologist. Doctor, thanks for being with us. You know, we've talked to friends, we've talked to family members of these 3 men, but we have yet to speak to a doctor. So I'm curious, for starters, if this case came across your desk, I mean, what clues would you look for first to determine what happened to these men? What have been your biggest questions?
Yeah, my condolences to the families first. It's a tragic way to lose your loved ones. They were enjoying themselves like most of us during football season. So I think it's perplexing when there's 3 adult men that all die in one instance, if you will. And I think, anytime you approach a case where 3, healthy, otherwise functional people suddenly pass, you have to, first of all, rule out foul play. As far as I'm aware, the information that was released does say that there's no suspicion of foul play, which I think, from a medical perspective, it means that the autopsy didn't find any big injuries that caused their death. we
So
always look
you
for
think
anything
they already
hidden.
have autopsy results? The public just hasn't been made aware of it?
So I think there are partial autopsy results that
Okay.
are, or prelim, I should say, that are available. So the no foul play really says that no significant injuries caused their death. That you can tell at autopsy right away, the day of autopsy. We check their head, neck, their entire body to make sure no one did anything to them. Then it becomes a question of things we can't see directly, and we need to wait for the other testing, such as toxicology. That's much more difficult in a autopsy setting than when we're alive. And so that's why it takes time. With the football game going on, was there any drinking, which is a normal social activity, but did it cause or contribute to their death? And then the investigation plays a very critical role. And then that's not something the medical examiner leads. That's a police-driven activity. We don't have the right as the ME to go question, individuals involved in the event. So all of that has to come together.
And I wanted to also add, we know that the Kansas City police ruled out foul play less than 24 hours after discovering the bodies on January 9th. I also wanted to ask you about the weather that night, because according to the National Weather Service, temperatures ranged from as high as 37 degrees to as low as 18 degrees from Sunday to Tuesday. And, the tenant's original story when police came to his house was that, my buddies froze to death in the backyard. Do you see that as plausible, doctor? And also, how could those cold temperatures impact the reports that we're waiting for?
Yeah, all very good points. So temperatures are critical in this case. Now, it's whether they caused or contributed to their death. I think it's known that the bodies were frozen when found. However, were they alive at the time, or was it like they were passed out, they were deceased outside and then froze? That's a very hard question to answer, and I think it's going to be very critical to sort of put all the puzzle pieces together, including the toxicology. Sometimes there's telltale signs at autopsy, but they're not always present sometimes. So we look for like little ulcers in the stomach that shows the body was under stress. But it's important to remember, just because the body's frozen does not mean that they froze to death. Okay, the temperatures are obviously very cold in the winter, and the exposure, we call it, to cold temperatures is a huge consideration in the entire story.
Well, we're certainly hoping that these reports will be made public soon and give us some definitive answers for the families piece as well, because many of them not believing that this, wasn't something sinister. Dr. Priya Banjeri, thank you so much.
The families have created GoFundMe accounts. They are devastated and heartbroken. But Ricky Johnson's GoFundMe page reveals new information about the police and the investigation. You can look at it now, but I will put the link for the GoFundMe page in the description. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.